What up? It's your boy Scuba Steve.
And I'm the Sodaholic.
And I'm LaChonkla.
All right, so guys, I have a question for you. Okay, so with today's times, today's times is cool and all, but I want to think about the future. Okay, like
Future.
like 10 years in the future. Okay, personally, for me, I don't think we're gonna get super far in 2010. Or not 2010.
2010.
2010.
And 2030. Only because, like, the only thing... I mean, I guess I'm not too knowledgeable on outside stuff, I guess. I don't know what type of feats we've made with medical or space travel. The only thing I think we'll improve on is, like, entertainment. Like, easier way to make games. I think games are going to look cool. But as far as the future go, I'm not super optimistic, but I want to know what your guys' point of views is on the future. 10-year span from now.
10 years from now?
Yeah.
Well, it's 2020. It'll be 2030. Dang. Hopefully at that time I'll be married and have kids and...
and... Bro, facts. That's when 2028 is my cutoff day, you know?
Dang. You said once I'm 29, I'm just gonna be celibate. I see. Given the trajectory, I guess with entertainment, I guess I agree with like how it'll be easier to access entertainment, but I feel like content wise would be, I don't know. I mean, when we go back 10 years. Right, we had like for example, Cartoon Network. I'm just giving it out Cartoon Network. Right. We had Teen Titans, regular one. 10 years from now, or like current cartoons of Teen Titans is Teen Titans Go. Right now, it's like what used to be this whole dark, mysterious, very deep drama cartoon is now kind of a like jokey, out of the norm, wacky show, right? And so 10, and that's only because it's trying to kind of...
Wait, that's like something I didn't think about before.
Yeah.
Dang, what the heck?
Whoa,
hold on, I just had like a big old like epiphany happen in my head.
What's your epiphany?
So like, the style of cartoons that we have today are so much like the Looney Tunes, if you think about it. Like, we went full circle.
I see what you're saying.
Cartoons started with the Looney Tunes, and they used to be like super dramatic and like funny like that. Mm-hmm. And then we had super serious stuff, and now we're back to the super funny stuff. I didn't realize that till just now, bro. We came full circle in entertainment. So
do you think we're gonna...
At least in cartoons.
Yeah, so you think we're gonna...
That's crazy.
We're gonna go back into drama like stuff and... You know, stuff like Teen Titans,
or it just goes worse down the rabbit hole. In 2010 we had Teen Titans Go. 2020 we have, in 2010 we had Teen Titans. Now we have Teen Titans Go. Now in 10 years it's probably gonna be like just teens.
Just teens.
It's just regular teens chilling.
No superpowers.
None.
Nah, man, it's gonna be future Teen Titans Go. It's gonna be just Titans, not even teens.
But I feel like entertainment has become like, obviously everything is always gonna change and adapt to how the audience feels. But then again, corporate America always controls us, so we don't even know how we really feel. But at least looking into entertainment now, 10 years. I guess I'm not skeptical. I'm kind of optimistic about it. I'm like, there's... Never mind. I can't.
Alright. Is it my turn?
Yeah. Well, I think for video games, 10 years from now would be interesting to see, given that we're already on almost that next gen for like Xbox and PlayStation, right?
Right.
And so I'm just interested to see if VR is going to skyrocket, like again, right? Would we move into more realistic, even more realistic virtual worlds? You know that game? It's like Gamer with the dude from Olympus Has Fallen. What's his name?
I think I know what you're talking
from Law
about.
Abiding Citizen.
It sounds familiar.
Oh, the premise is like, in the near future, video games has moved into where you can. It's like Player One, I guess, where you.
Oh, like Ready Player
like
One.
Ready Player
You're
One.
just saying.
I could have just Ready Player One.
10 years.
I feel like we should be at that point.
10 years. You're saying 10 years is doable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we're already on next gen, more or less, right? And so I feel like we should be able to at least talk about that kind of gaming. I think it'd be interesting,
Bro.
What?
Imagine what esports will be in 10 years if that happens.
I can see
like
esports
that'd be crazy.
becoming like an actual not to say that it's not already a big thing, but I think esports would get a lot more mainstream
Respect.
Yeah.
Mainstream respect.
You think it'll be part of the Olympics? Do you think esports is gonna be in?
Bro, did you hear about the 2020 or what was supposed to be part of the 2020 Olympics?
No,
that was
wait.
The Tokyo 2020 Olympics was supposed to introduce.
Are you serious?
From what I heard.
Oh snap!
So to answer your question,
Yeah,
Steve,
I know.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think they'll play?
I don't know.
CS:GO.
That's a good
Valorant
question.
brought to you by Riot
Bro,
Games.
but like if you think about it though, if you also think about it, like a lot of esports are different, and esports companies aren't run by nations. They're run by companies, or their own esports companies, like esports teams.
Right.
So you'd have to make national teams in order for
You know, it'd be a good game.
esports Olympics to work.
Good game would be Smash.
That's true. A lot of people know what it is, so I mean, it's a good introduction, I guess.
You know, one of the reasons why I said I was skeptical about the future is this is something I've been harboring for a while, and I don't really blame America or any other world leader because it's kind of preposterous, but we've given up on making super cool shit. I mean, think about it. Someone carved the presidents into a mountain. France made the Statue of Liberty.
Dang.
I want big stuff like that. We haven't made a big piece of work in a while. All we've done is given fat nerds a VR headset. By the way, I'm one of those fat nerds. But at the same time, we haven't made any cool shit, man.
Bro, that's facts.
Well, I mean, we got into technology. I feel like people have invested more time in modern technology, as in computers and VR and sound and all that kind of stuff. Computer science. I think it's interesting in its own right that people can.
Bro, I remember how we talked about last video, how we talked about how the art of this world, or at least this culture, or this how do I say it? This current year's culture, or era of culture, is our art is video games, or something. Video games, movies, entertainment. That's our form of art, I guess. We don't have a lot of physical art.
I know.
We have a lot of digital art.
That's true. I could agree with that one. Speaking of entertainment, what about music in 10 years? Do you think Kanye will still be relevant in 10 years? I think Kanye will be relevant forever.
Oh, I don't even like his music today.
No!
I don't, bro. I like how you guys took these angles, because I took super real world angles, and you guys took
what do you
entertainment.
Well, think about it.
angles.
Music is also really important to people. It reaches a deeper level into people that no other.
No,
people
yeah,
could.
I'm not saying it's bad that you took these angles. I'm just saying I'm glad that you guys took these angles, because I had a different, altogether view on this video as a whole.
What's your take?
Well, mine were real world. I'm turning it to
Real
this
world.
real world like things that will happen in 10 years. So like my examples were Elon Musk tunnels under populated cities. So like his solution to traffic was, instead of making like hover cars, because that would take too much energy and have like a lot of sound, to instead just create tunnels under city, because you'll dampen the sound a lot, and tunnels are really secure from like natural disaster.
I was about to ask.
And it adds a 3D layer to like city transportation.
See, I've heard that proposal before. It's just I don't think I'll see it. I mean, they're
in 10 years?
around, yeah.
Well, I mean,
there's construction
Elon
going
Musk
on
has already started
around my neighborhood that's been
Los
going
Angeles.
on for 10 years.
Yeah,
I don't not to blame the construction workers, but like,
No.
it's gonna be a while.
Well, that's why I only said underpopulated cities, because like he already started, like he said he already started in California, like he already started.
Well, how far along is the
under
project?
LA?
Then? If he already started in California,
I don't know.
10 years.
I don't know. I don't know how long, but I feel like 10 years is a good, at least for the populated cities. It's a good like estimate or guess, I guess. 10 years seems kind of reasonable to make.
Do you think
at least the starting layer of underground transportation possible, you know?
Do you think in 10 years... Well, speaking of going back into, instead of having hovered cars, do you think instead of cars, we'll have some smaller in scale, like skateboards, like hovered boards? You know, not like hoverboards with the wheels, but
smaller
actual.
in scale?
Yeah, kind of like Back to the Future, you know, with the... Yeah. Do you think in 10 years we'll have that?
Here's why. Because people in like 1980s, 1960s, they thought we'd have hover cars since before 2020. They thought I forget the year, like 2015. They thought we'd already have hover cars. We're still using cars.
Yeah, I mean, like the technology, we have the technology. We just don't use the technology because it's not like what is it? It's not that it's not applicable. It's not like efficient. It's not the best way to go about solving the problem. Because like a lot of people today complain about like how noisy cities are, and that would add so much more noise and pollution on top of that to like cities, and that's not what people want. So
well, here's the thing about pollution here. So with pollution and the whole, how people are always striving for like a cleaner earth, and that if we stop production and things, like they're saying it's too late for the world. Well, right now as we're recording this, the whole world's on lockdown, and the world's already showing signs of improvement after what, like a month. So
and it's only been a month, and it's crazy how much better things have got in just a month.
Well, with that said, do you
crazy.
think we'll continue down that road, or do you think we'll just go right back to...
That's a great question, because I have two different predictions for my 50 years, because I don't think pollution will be super bad in the next 10 years, but I did put a good and a bad prediction for my 50 years out.
Oh, bad. Forgot about we could talk about negative things.
But yeah, I do think that it is possible to... I'm not one of those like pessimists that don't think it's possible to like clean however much we've polluted the world, because even just after this month is proof that we can fix the world, and it's a good thing to look forward to. But again, like if once we get back out of this crisis that we're in right now, and we're still on our really bad track of using so much resources, I feel like it is possible to clean the world, because we already have a good step forward, and this past month has been proof that it's possible.
But do you think in 50 years it would be an improvement? And
No.
do you think it?
Do you want me to say my predictions for the 50 years?
I think for me, when it comes to 50 years in the future, I mean, there's give and take. So if we improve in technology and stuff like that, I think we're gonna use up a lot more.
Resources.
Yeah, a lot more resources. You know, creating a lot more pollution. I don't think. I'm pretty sure there's other ways, but I think for convenience, people want convenience more than anything.
Right,
know?
makes sense.
And if they can go with an easier route versus the better choice, they're gonna go with the easier route.
Mm-hmm.
For my 50 years, I put so I'll start with the bad first, so we can get the bad out of the way. If we continue down this bad path that people feel like is inevitable, that I personally don't think it's inevitable because of this past month, like I said. But if we continue down the bad path, I feel like in 50 years the world will run out of its natural resources.
In 50 years?
And what? Yeah, that's what scientists predicted. 2010 is that we'll run out of resources in 2010 in 50 years. But yeah, if we continue down this bad path, I feel like that is a big possibility. But from looking at just politics in general, like what people want these days now is changing, and we all want the world to be a better place. And I feel like if we continue voicing that, the good outcome is that in 50 years, I feel like it is possible for the world to be fully renewable. And that's my good prediction, is that in 50 years, the world will be fully renewable resources. And I don't feel like it's a jump, because it's not. A lot of cities are pretty close to 100% renewable, and that's today. So 50 years is a good I guess or estimate for when fully renewable world is possible.
Right. What about you, Scuba Steve? What do you think about 50 years in the future?
50 years in the future, I feel we'll have floating beds.
Floating beds.
There would be a lot more. I think I would like to see, going back to the 10 years proposal about the underground stuff. I think we'll see a lot of that, underground movement. I think music would. I don't know about music though. I just take music year by year or day by day. I mean, sonically, people are always going back to their roots, but also changing how it sounds in a way, or at least make it modern.
Yeah.
Like Freddie Gibbs, for example. I mean, he makes music. He makes the sound he produced. He incorporates his own boom, like a lot of classic, early hip hop with trap music. It's the way he does it's really really good. So I'm just in 10 years, I wonder how hip hop's gonna be in that sense. Where are they gonna mix different sounds from hip hop today, or are they just gonna make a totally different approach, a different sound? But in 50 years from now, is the sound we're gonna hear today gonna be different in the future? Obviously, yes. But I'm just wondering how it would sound. Is it going to be drastically different, right? Probably. I mean, I guess for me, my question is, what's going to be the biggest music genre in 50 years, right?
That's a great question.
Because yeah, there's always in sections of history, in sections of history, there's a theme. There's a theme. their theme music for that section of history, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and so
Bro, I wonder what, like, just like you saying that, what would be our generation's theme music?
yes, I mean,
Trap.
it's hard. It's hard because it's very mixed, right? I mean, I stopped listening to the radio, so I don't really know what's hot right now, and I'm mainly focused on hip hop and rap, so that's all I know, really, and indie, like bedroom pop, alternative indie, rock, and all that, but like, it's just hard to say because I only know hip hop, so I'm just saying like, it's just, I guess it's just what's popular
Right.
on the radio. That's kind of our theme song, you know, because, and also, yeah.
The thing that I'm most excited for 50 years in the future, though, it's what type of, Pong, the very first video game, was made in 1972. Right, that's not too long
Yeah.
ago. My parents were alive for that.
My dad was born in 1972.
Yeah. And look at the game, like Red Dead Redemption 2. That game looks photorealistic. In 50 years, what are the graphics going to look like to make our stuff look like crap?
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like
I know.
VR, I feel like is gonna skyrocket 1,000 times.
Also, you gotta keep put into keep into account your eyes can only see a certain amount of graphic clarity. So if they wanted to make something look even better, you'd also have to make an enhancement for your eyes to see it too.
Well, speaking of that, then, do you think in 50 years there would be body enhancers, or we'll turn into robots or something? There would be nanotechnology in our bodies.
Actually, yes. I do. Well, because there's a lot of I don't know how far in technology is amputated limbs. The legs and the arms. How advanced
how
are
far are
those?
we today?
Reconstructing the whole
Not
body
reconstruction, but an attachable arm that you can.
Are you asking how far are we today?
Yeah. How
I feel
enhanced are those?
There are some cases where I don't know if this is real or not, but I feel like there are some cases where if you lost your arm, you can you can have a prosthetic that uses your nerves to move to put a prosthetic that will actually sense what your nerves want to do and move your fingers accordingly.
See, that if we're able to do that today, I can only imagine what we can do in 50 years. So
I don't know if we can do that today though. I think it is possible, but that's in certain cases.
Well, you know what blows my mind? Heart transplants. The ability to take out someone's heart and fully replace it with another person's heart, that's crazy to me. You know? So if we can do that with other people's hearts, with enough research and technology, we could do anything, really.
We could reconstruct the heart from scratch.
What if we had Tony Stark hearts?
Whoa, so we're powered by elements from the earth?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But wouldn't you have to recharge that? I would be terrified.
No, because I just rewatched the first Iron Man, and the way he explained it was the energy coming from the thing it doesn't create energy, but it produces energy for longer than the human body could even last. I think it was 1,000 years, and the reason why he was able to use the Iron Man suit was because he used the power from the thing that he uses for his heart to power both him and the suit.
Yeah, but
so
that technology isn't available today.
But will it be?
Yeah, I know it's not available today.
Will it be?
That'd be crazy if you'd be able to you wouldn't even die of heart disease anymore.
That's a
you wouldn't even have to like
dangerous road,
worry
though.
about like that kind
Wait,
of
That's
stuff.
such a dangerous road, though.
Are you essentially saying that we become immortal?
No, you wouldn't become immortal. You would be.
It's just like the heart.
You'd still
Yeah,
age
oh,
because
okay.
your cells and your body still ages.
Yeah, but
But,
you
like,
don't have to worry about getting.
You wouldn't run out of energy. I think is the way to put it.
So I would be able to run a 5K when I'm 110 years old.
I think so.
Can I cut off my limbs
Bro, what
and
if?
replace it with the enhancements and go back to the Olympics?
Like purposely?
Yeah. Can you imagine my fat ass body with like the robot arms and legs of an Olympian? That'd be so amazing.
Do you think it would become normal though in like 50 years? Having
Bro, wait.
robotic legs instead of having
I just thought of
regular
something.
legs.
You know how like there's a guy in the Paralympics that like he's like an Australian
Oh
guy.
yes, the
And he
prosthetic.
does like the 100-meter
Yeah,
dash,
yes, the-
and he has like those legs that are like half circles. What if like the Paralympics people start running faster than like the actual Olympics people? That'd be crazy.
Isn't that a real debate though? I thought that was already a debate that it's unfair. It has an unfair advantage because those prosthetics literally help him
Like
run
get a boost.
faster. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know, but I feel like it is 100% possible to like create like prosthetics that would like enhance the human body enough to where like the human body is pretty much irrelevant.
So do you think it would be a normal thing in 50 years to have prosthetic robotic enhancers? Like everyone should have it?
I don't know.
Maybe not in 50 years, but maybe 100.
Mm.
Yeah, like imagine like what sports could be if everyone had like those kind of prosthetics to enhance the human body.
I think in some sense,
Like imagine football players just trucking each other halfway across the
I
field.
think in some sense it depends on the sport. I mean, yeah, like football, it's entertaining when they get a hit. But I feel like we're only gonna watch it now just for the hits, not for the touchdowns, right? For the aggressiveness, right? Do you think? Well, I feel like sports. Yeah, it's just a pick and choose, I guess, depending on the sport. I mean,
Yeah, because like back in the day, what is it? The roid scandal, the steroid
yeah.
scandal in baseball, and then they banned steroids. So like, maybe they'll just ban the use of prosthetics in sports.
Do you think they'll ever make a...
I feel like that's already a thing, but like,
Do-
do you think sports would like go with prosthetics, or do you think they'll stray away from prosthetics if it comes to the point to where like it's enhancing people's capabilities?
No, I think people would be against the prosthetics. I think it'll become its own league, but I don't think it'll get mainstream media, at least at first. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of pushback that it's not natural talent, you know?
It'll be like today's esports, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
They should make a league of athletes who only use steroids. The best of those steroids.
That's funny. Is it that bodybuilding?
Bodybuilders freak
That's
me out,
why
man.
huge.
They're good people, but I cannot. No.
They're freaking huge, man.
Do you think if
Like unnaturally huge sometimes. It's crazy.
Do you think in 50 years there would be sports, like there would be newer sports that would take over old sports? Like will there be a different version of basketball that people will come to find? And we're no
Well,
longer playing regular
Bro,
basketball?
did you ever watch the episode of Phineas and Ferb where they're playing like this super hockey or like the super soccer one?
Uh-huh.
Bro, those look super cool.
Well,
Not saying that like it will happen, but those look super cool.
Mhm.
has there been a sport?
I could imagine like if that's what sports became.
Yeah.
but I don't think it will happen. But like that'd be super cool.
Well, with that question, Scuba Steve, has there been a sport in the past 50 years that replaced another popular sport?
Yeah, Wii Sports Golf.
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
I don't remember a sport in being in. Oh, I know one. Spike ball became really popular in the last 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like it wasn't even a sport. Like I don't even remember it. Like in the past 10 years.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty recent.
It's pretty recent.
Super
What the
recent.
fuck is spike ball?
Esports and spike ball are the only two that I can think
Hey, what the
of
fuck
that
is
are
spike
like.
ball?
It's when it.
It's like there's like a circular net in the middle, and it's kind of like volleyball, but you're playing the ball off a trampoline instead of hitting it over a net.
And there's 4 people playing the game, 2 on a team, and you take it's basically volleyball. You just take turns hitting the ball. It's
Instead of hitting it over a net, you're hitting it into a trampoline, and
What makes a trampoline?
or like it's like a miniature trampoline.
Yeah,
So it's not like
good.
like you're on a trampoline, like you're running on ground, but you hit the ball into like a miniature trampoline instead of hitting it over a net.
Is this super popular?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super
actually, yeah.
popular.
How often?
Like it's like right now it's more popular within college students, but like or like college, like the 20s, people in their 20s, because it's like really quick reactions and high intensity sprint level stuff. So like it's meant for younger people, but it's really popular, or it's getting like that ground it needs to become a sport, you know.
All right.
But other than those two, I can't think of any other
Yeah,
sports
I can only think of
that have been.
Sports like enhancing or taking away certain rules, you know, or like improving. But I can't really think of new sports.
a new game in
Well, I guess
altogether, I can't think of.
relative to the U.S. I mean, in some other countries like handball is like super, and like cricket is super huge.
Yeah.
You know. But I think soccer is relatively popular amongst everybody in the world, right? And so
Yeah, soccer is like a global sport.
yeah,
I think soccer is the only global sport, really.
you could argue
okay.
baseball. You can argue baseball.
Baseball is close. It's the second most global sport. I think, bro, this is gonna be controversial, but I think the third most global sport is esports.
No, I can.
Like, if you think about it, just think about it.
You're right.
Like,
Do you
more people play video games around the world than like basketball. Which I think would be the next one.
Do you think esports?
Closest.
Do you think esports is gonna be the new #1 sport in like 50 years?
Not
like
number
everyone-
one, but it'll be up there.
Like everyone? Oh,
Yeah, I think it'll be up there. Like, from what I heard today, it's like 5th in major sports in the U.S. By itself. In terms of viewers, like average viewers.
Do you think it's dependent on also the games? Do you think if in
Like the type of games that they play in
yeah,
esports?
I mean I know that some famous ones is like League of Legends and Smash and games like that, but do you think there would be a game in the future where it would definitely put esports like top 3?
Maybe, yeah,
It's a good
I
question.
do. Because I mean, everyone has a personal taste, but I mean, it could only take one to really get it going.
Yeah.
I will say it's interesting for me because I kind of support esports. I support esports because I like the idea of having gaming be like a mainstream thing
Yeah.
instead of just being called a school shooter or the cause of causing a school shooting. It's nice to just see like there's positive reinforcement when it comes to games. But like,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I don't like watching sports, and I still don't like watching esports. So I don't think gaming has anything to do with it. I think it's the nature of the event itself.
Right.
Esports is super hype. Like, a lot of people like going to venues for esports, but like not a lot of people like playing the actual game, I feel. But I feel like if there is a game that takes over like as a solid sport, it'd be something along the lines
Tekken.
of League of... No, it had to be something along the lines of League of Legends, but not League of Legends itself. Because I think the one problem that League of Legends has is they have, like, too much going on.
You would think it's a strategy game.
Yeah, it has to be... Yeah, League is a strategy game.
Well, you wouldn't think...
But at the same...
I would argue that a game like CSGO, like... I know that game has some problems, but I think that's based on how Valve has been treating the game. I would think...
Yeah, but I feel like it have to be a game to where, like, it has to be something pushing the limits of a person's capability to play that game. So, like, CSGO, I feel like is pretty simple in terms of, like, a ceiling of, like, talent or, like, a ceiling of skill. I feel like the ceiling has to be high in terms of skill, and the game has to be simple enough for everyone, for a lot of people to understand.
What do you think, Scuba Steve?
So that's why...
What do you think is going to be the game that gets esports up there?
The Barbie racing game.
Yup.
I think it's either gonna be like a first person or games like League. I think it'll be really huge. Or maybe Magic the Gathering. We can go back into like playing virtual Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something. I think it'd be kind of fun.
I think you were going right with the Barbie thing. I think the games that will get esports up there is shitty games, not games with good balance or interesting gameplay to watch. I think it's going to be shitty games and the endurance through those shitty games.
Yeah. That's true because because you can't really cheat in games like that, right? You have to build skill to play doo-doo games. Right? I mean, not only skill of like the skill of playing the game, but the skill of, like you said, the endurance, the mentality, the motivation to play a horrible game. No, actually, I think it'd be fun. No, never mind. I was gonna say like something like Tetris, but I think I'm thinking like team-based games, and Tetris is kind of like a single player. Unless we get into Tetris 99, I think it'd be fun. No.
Yeah, but I think it has to be a team-based game, and like it has to have a good amount of people. So like five, somewhere around 5 or 6 players, and it has to have a really high skill ceiling, so that people can be innovative and like push the limits of the game, but at the same time be simple enough for people watching to understand.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Like that's like what Halo. My view is of what the game has to be. But I don't know what kind of game it is going to be,
Well, it also has to attract audience. Yeah.
Dance Dance Revolution. I think that would be...
Speaking of revolution, what do you guys think is going to happen in 100 years?
Speaking of revolution, I feel like if you're talking about in the sense of revolution, we'll probably go through a couple wars, probably a really big one. But in 100 years, what is that? That would be 2120. Well, for one, I'll probably be dead.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends on our medical situation in 50 years, and so and also if Earth is still, I feel like in 100 years. Well, I was gonna mention in 50 years, I feel like we're gonna start discussing exploration of space, and in 100 years, I think we'll be able to go
Ooh, that's a good one.
into we're at that moment where we explored Mars. We at least have some colonies in Mars, and we're expanding, like trying to get out of this solar system. I think in 100 years we'll lose a lot of resources and a lot of like a motivation of Earth, and we need to find a new place. And I feel like in 50 years that we will begin that conversation. In 100 years, people will be living in Mars and the Moon, and maybe a couple other moons in Jupiter, but not in 100 years. Maybe like 200 years, but for Jupiter. But I feel like we would be out of this rock and living somewhere else. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Not a majority of us.
You took mine, but I like it. That's a good idea.
I don't think a majority of us would be living outside. I think it'd just be quite a few, a million people, but it just depends on resources and stuff, you know?
Yeah. What I had put was pretty much the same thing. I put that in 100 years we'd have commercial space travel, and that we'd also have our first like permanent inhabitants of Mars. Because you gotta think of like, if we are set on going to Mars, the first people going there aren't gonna be permanent inhabitants. They'll be the people setting it up.
They'll be pawns.
But like around 100 years, they're gonna have to commit to like staying to Mars and building Mars from the ground up. I feel, at least.
Exactly.
But and commercial space travel was the other one, like opening it up to like anyone could go to space, and like that'd be like the future of like road tripping. You just go to space and chill out in like a space hotel or something.
Funny. I don't know, man. It'd be cool to go colonize another planet, but I'm pretty sure a war is gonna follow suit. Like,
oh yeah, no. They're
gonna break off from Earth.
Wars always, yeah.
And then
we are no longer human.
The Infinite Warfare campaign is gonna take place for real this time.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about how long humans will be on Earth, seeing how fast of a growth technology has gotten. Because in a larger span, the Earth has been... humans have been a part of the Earth's history for a small portion of it. And the fact that technology is rapidly growing so fast, it makes you wonder how long humans will have before they make a mistake they can't turn back on. You know what I'm trying to say?
Bro, it's crazy to think that not even 50 years ago we'd even have the internet.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's wild,
big
bro.
facts. Big money. I don't know, man. I hope in 50 years I'm able to become immortal, so then I can go to space in 100 years. I hope.
I plan to die in the year 2100. I want to live to see the next century, my guy.
I'm gonna die at.
And then I'll be like, I'm out.
It'd be kind of interesting if we. Do you think we'll be able to have the technology to bring people back? No, I'm just joking. Kanye, do you think we'll find a way to prolong Kanye's life so that we can listen to his music in the next century?
That's funny.
We need him. Legit.
No, we need the next Kanye, bro.
What's his daughter's name?
We need someone to step up and be Kanye 2.0.
Isn't it like Kanye East or something?
No one.
Kanye East.
No one can replace God.
Oh
Just
my
like
God.
no one
There
can
should be,
replace
like,
Kanye.
The other directions, south, east, and north, and they should have a different genre of music. So Kanye has the hip hop and rap, and the others can.
Kanye South is country Kanye.
Kanye East.
Kanye East is like trap and
No, that counts as hip hop.
Oh.
That counts as hip hop. I think.
All right, fine.
East-
It's
I think
what is
North
it called? Electronic pop, bro. Like
like anything
what
pop,
is it?
like ranging from K-pop all the way up to EDM.
Yeah.
No, yeah, EDM. There we go.
Oh yeah,
Kanye East is EDM.
Yeah,
Kanye.
yeah. You're right. Kanye North is Canadian music.
Reggae Kanye, bro.
That would be awesome.
No, do you think in 100 years we're able to have technology to bring people back to life?
It's see, I don't know. It's it'd be interesting. I'm not saying it's out of the question. It's just
I think in 100 years we will be able to like download a person's brain into like computers. So like if someone really wanted to live and be immortal, they could just like download themselves into the internet.
So you think?
But I don't know who would want to do that.
Do you think
But like I feel like you'd be able to do
you
that.
think AI will take over the human race?
not in
You
our
think-
lifetime. I don't think.
Yeah, definitely not in our lifetime. But I feel like Terminator Salvation will be in like 200 years, bro.
Well, it'll be interesting if, in a very effective way of terrorism, is if majority of our world leaders and governments uploaded their minds to like the internet, but then someone released like a virus, like malware, and took out all the AI interface of human minds.
Bro,
That'd be an effective sweep, you know.
dang.
Big facts.
I read a book about like pretty much the world in the future and living in like what is it called, like simulated worlds and stuff like that, like living in a game essentially. The book series is called The Mortality Doctrine. It's by the same author that wrote The Maze Runner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good read, but it's really confusing if you like don't know technology that well, because
Same.
it's super mind-blowing how crazy like his concepts are. But it's a really good read. I haven't read all of it though. I did read like 1.5 books, and like it's good, but like I'm just not a reader, so I didn't get to read all of it.
In 50 years, I hope that I won't have to have the need to read. I'll just have chips to read for me. So like I'll just put a book, like a book and a chip into the chip in my head, and I just don't need to read.
Just be like how our Xbox or PlayStations download games. We just download books into our head.
Those downloads take forever though. Like it's unreliable sometimes.
Yeah, but I think
Then again, it takes me
but
forever
you're
to read
downloading
book,
a
so I
whole
guess-
book.
So I guess it's pretty even.
oh fuck, this is balls.
But would you rather go like the span of like a quarter? So like for Central we go in quarters. So like, would you rather go like 10-week period learning the book, or would you rather do like the 2-hour download to learn the book? I'd rather do the 2-hour download just to learn the book.
I mean, it takes away from the experience of reading, but yes.
Oh no, I don't have to stare at a page full of words I don't care about.
And I feel like that's what's technology has come to be, is become so convenient that we lose sight of delving into a book or looking at stuff, you know. I mean, I think that's been said earlier, but we want convenience. We want things to be more convenient for us, and so if we find a way to read a book in 2 weeks instead of a whole 10-week or semester, I feel like that's where we're letting technology take over us instead of us using technology for our benefit you know?
Yeah.
Even though it's just
Well, I feel
a
like
random thing to say, but I just feel like it's just a thought, you know?
the history of innovation is just a history of making things easier to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, the whole reason why humans created tools is to do tasks easier.
Well, it is. I mean, I do think it, like, downloading a book would be super convenient, but books need to exist because if anything happens to that catalog of
Yeah, then the whole world is pretty much
Yeah.
fucked. Because then they won't remember what it's about, or they won't have like a backup file for it. I guess.
Yeah, but then
Like they have to have the egg
oh,
in order to keep the chickens.
or it could be like
Yeah.
Fahrenheit 451 where we just burn books. No, I don't want to name like Pokemon. What the fuck? But yeah, any more thoughts, concerns, questions about the future, my guys?
We went past my second 10-year prediction, which was cross country super rails. I really want that to happen.
Cross country super rails?
Yeah, like how in Japan they have the whatever train that goes super fast. We could
Oh.
have that going across the entire country.
oh, I thought that was the underground because that's what I heard.
No,
'Cause,
that's-
like, I heard
that's
that
for,
they're
like-
thinking of making underground tunnels connecting different.
No, but I think
states.
that's for like traffic. That's for cars.
Yeah, that's for like car traffic. For like what is it called?
Because like the article that
Personal
I heard
transit.
was
That's like personal
like
transit. This is
transferring
like
from Seattle to
public
Chicago
transit,
within 20 minutes.
transit across the country.
What? I agree. I agree. I think it would be interesting to see.
And then in 50 years, California is going to be an island. All right, that's my predictions.
My closing predictions for the future is we'll go to war with China. We'll liberate North Korea, rally their citizens to convince the
God.
Chinese citizens to rise up as well. And soon, China and North Korea will be subdivisions of the United States and slowly
Bro, that'd
consume
be
the world,
World War
causing us to
III.
retreat to Mars, causing another war between USA, Earth, and Mars. That's my prediction.
That's dark.
My predictions are in 10 years, where Kanye would produce every single genre of music, and it would be the only music we'll listen to in that genre. In 50 years, we would have hovering houses, and clothes will be. It will no longer be clothes. It will just be.
Our naked bodies.
It would just
Like
be
animals.
cloths.
No, it'd be like digital displays on top of our
Holograms?
naked
Oh,
bodies.
that'd be
We'll have
awesome.
holograms.
Holograms on top of our naked bodies,
Holograms.
bro.
I think
Dude.
food would be more convenient to eat. Oh, we haven't talked about food. I wonder what food would be like.
Bro, that is facts. We did talk about food.
Did we?
No, we
Oh,
did
yeah.
not.
I feel like in 10 years, food would be delicious. 50 years, food would be delicious. 100 years, rocks. And then
Rocks.
We ran out of food.
Rocks would be our next food.
in 50 years, we would be in ships in Mars, and we'll colonize Mars. And Kanye would have Mars.
Kanye West on Mars will be fighting the war on Kanye North in the USA Earth. Yay.
Kanye-
Our prediction.
Kanye would just be immortal by 2050.
Oh, then
2070.
who's the real bad
It'll
guy
be-
here?
And
It'll be the World War Kanye. Technically, World's War Kanye is more precise, is the actual term. Because it'll be more than one world, so it'll be World's War.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds so dopey though. World's War One, Kanye.
In 100 years, we'll have super soldiers, not like Master Chief, but enough to wear
Exoskeletons.
we're
Exosuits.
able to wear
Advanced warfare.
Why aren't we
Yes.
pumping our Marines, like our soldiers today, with steroids? Why isn't every one of our military not bodybuilding?
I mean,
I don't know.
pretty fit, and it.
That's a great question.
I think for one, we're not really in the brink of war yet, so we don't need super meaty boys.
Well, can you
Yeah,
imagine?
Topic for another time.
Man, I'm just saying, man. Imagine.
Thanks for joining the podcast. We're running short on time here.
Oh.
That is a fair point.
Well, thanks you guys for watching. Please comment down below. Do you think a Barbie racing game would be a esports phenomenon?
Bro.
Please, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, your week, your month, your year, your life. And tune in next time to our podcast. It's been your boy Scuba Steve.
And the Sodaholic.
And La Chancla.
And drink water.